You know, it's something we all do every single day, probably without even thinking about it. We click a link. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain just a little bit and follow the quiet, simple journey a web page takes to get to your screen. And don't worry, this isn't going to be some dry, technical lecture. Think of it more like a story about how the internet actually works.
I mean, it feels instant, right? You click and poof, you see the page. But in that tiny split second, there's this fascinating chain of events that kicks off. So what really happens in that little gap between your click and a new page appearing? Well, let's dive in. At its very core, browsing the web is, well, it's just a conversation. It's a simple back and forth between two main characters, your computer and another, much more powerful computer somewhere out there in the world. So let's meet our two main players.
Okay, so first up, we've got the client. Now, that's just a fancy name for your web browser. Chrome, Firefox, Safari, whatever you use. The best way to think about the client is as a polite messenger. Its entire job is just to ask for things. When you type in a web address, you're really just giving your client its marching orders on what to go ask for.
And who is the client talking to? Well, that would be the server. Servers are these super powerful computers, and their whole job is to store all the stuff that makes up websites, all the text, the images, the code, everything. They just sit there, listening, waiting for a client to make a request. And when a request comes in, the server finds exactly the right information and sends it back. It's a really simple, kind of elegant partnership when you think about it.
So this whole dance has a name. It's called the request and response cycle, and you can see it laid out right here. It all starts with you, right? You type in an address. Then your browser, the client, sends out a request. That little request travels all across the internet to the right server. The server finds the page you wanted and sends it all the way back. And finally, your browser gets that response and puts the page up on your screen for you to see. Every single time you browse a new page, this exact cycle happens.
Okay, but that kind of brings up a new question, right? For any conversation to work, both sides have to be speaking the same language. They have to follow the same rules. So how on earth do a client and a server, which could be thousands of miles apart, understand each other so perfectly?
Well, to get it, let's think about a human example. Imagine you're in a classroom. There's a set of unspoken rules, a protocol, for asking a question. The teacher asks if there are any questions, you raise your hand, they call on you, and then you ask. The teacher hears you and then responds. Computers follow the exact same kind of process. It's just their protocol is a little more formal.
And for the web, that protocol is called HTTP. It's literally the official language of the web. It lays out all the rules for how requests have to be worded and how responses need to be structured. It's because every browser and every server on the planet agrees to speak this one language, HTTP, that this whole global conversation works without a hitch.
And, just like you can't send a letter without a street address, your browser needs a specific address to send its request. That's all a URL is. It's the unique address for a piece of information, telling your browser exactly which server to talk to and precisely what to ask for.
All right, so the server finds the information and sends it back. But here's a super interesting part. It doesn't send a finished picture of the website. I mean, that would be way too slow. Instead, it sends something much more efficient, a set of blueprints. Your browser is actually the construction worker that builds the page right there on your screen.
And these blueprints are written in 3 core languages that all work together to create pretty much every single website you've ever seen. Let's break down each one. First up, you've got HTML. This is the skeleton, the raw structure. It defines all the actual content on the page, the headings, the paragraphs, the images. Think of it like the architectural plan for a house. It lays out where the walls and doors and rooms are going to be, but it says absolutely nothing about the paint color or the furniture.
But a house with just walls and doors is kind of boring, right? That's where CSS comes in. CSS is basically the interior designer. It takes that raw structure from the HTML and adds all the style, the colors, the fonts, the layout. It's what turns a plain document into something that's actually nice to look at. It's the part that paints the walls and arranges the furniture in our house.
And finally, we have JavaScript. So if HTML is the structure and CSS is the style, JavaScript is the electricity. It's what makes the house come alive. It adds all the functionality, things like interactive menus, animations, or pop-up alerts. It's the light switches, the doorbell, all the appliances that make our house a dynamic, functional place to be.
So now that you know about these pieces, here's the really cool part. You can actually peek under the hood of any website you want and see these blueprints for yourself. It's not some hidden secret for developers. It's right there, waiting for you to look.
Seriously, try this the next time you're browsing. Go to any web page, right-click somewhere, and pick View Page Source. Now, it's going to look like a wall of text at first, but it won't be gibberish to you anymore. You'll actually recognize the HTML tags that are creating the structure. You might even spot the links to the CSS and JavaScript files. You'll be looking directly at the blueprints your browser just used to build the very page you're on.
So the next time you click a link, just for a second, maybe appreciate that little journey. It isn't magic. It's something much more beautiful, I think. It's a quiet, constant, and incredibly elegant conversation happening between computers, all speaking the same language, just to connect you to the rest of the world.